Hey YouTube, in this video we're going to tour the bottom box here. So far we've toured this service cart, we've toured that top box, and I've released a review of the Hazette 916 HP, which is Hazette's new 90-tooth ratchet. In this box here, we're going to look at these drawers here and then this side cabinet. I'm not going to go over any chemicals or anything in the nerd bins over here, but if anybody's interested to know what I have and what I use and why, as far as chemicals or whatnot, I'll be happy to do a video on that. Just comment and I'll do it. Here we have the Cobalt torque wrench. It's one I found from a channel called Real Tool Reviews. He reviewed it and he did some torque testing, and it turned out to be a pretty accurate wrench. So I went for it. It's like an $89 wrench. I've used it only, I don't know, 10 or 20 times, and it works fine. Junk drawer mostly is tire plugs, gauge for testing sprinkler pressure. Some little turbo sockets from Craftsman here, some easy outs and some nut breakers. A pair of Irwin circlip pliers. These are terrible, or snap ring pliers, depending on what you call them. The reason they're terrible is they move easy. They by move I mean they twist easy. Let's see if I can show you that. That's not taking a lot of force to move that from side to side. Let's see. There you go. That little bit of movement is plenty enough for the snap ring to fly across the room. So these are terrible. Don't buy these. Buy something else. This is the Mayhew pick drawer. I found these picks kind of searching around on Amazon. This Mayhew company, they support NASCAR. They make really good picks. They make really good chisels and really good pry bars. That's kind of their main business is those tools. This Dominator series is made in the USA. These smaller picks are from the Mayhew Select series, and they are actually made overseas. Even so, they're still really good picks. They have a knurled edge here, or knurled surface here, where you can get really close and do finer work. The tips are sharp, and I've used them a few times on some metal, and the tips stay pretty sharp. So even though they're made overseas, they're still really good. This is a new tool for me that I discovered in the Mayhew stuff. This is an O-ring pick. I don't know how many O-rings I take off to justify a whole set of picks for them, but when I saw these and I saw how sharp that front is, I thought of scraping in tight spots and kind of prying in small areas. I thought of a lot of uses for these, so I decided to pick them up, and I think they were like 15 bucks or 20 bucks on Amazon for the set. Next drawer, just shop towels from Harbor Freight mostly. Next drawer, this is the Innova 3160 scanner. This is all the scanner I've ever needed. It's done everything I needed to for every vehicle I have. Had it about a year, cleared a few codes, fixed the transmission based on the code it led me to. It's a good scanner, good homeowner scanner. In this drawer, this here it's Harbor Freight, it's Vulcan from Harbor Freight, but this is actually one of the nicer tools I own, and it's that helmet. That auto darkening helmet is really, really nice. I've used other auto darkening helmets. That one's better. Now the other side of it is it's priced better too. I think that's a $140 helmet, where you can get a Lincoln or a Miller helmet for say $100. The gloves, the Vulcan Defender gloves, they're just okay for welding. I do like the Lincoln gloves better because they have some heat shielding, one more layer of heat shielding on these fingers in this area here. And if you weld like me, you forget that it's hot and you get too close, and then next thing you know, your glove's cooking you. It's like I say, you go out, you set out to burn yourself and end up welding in the process. That blow molded case is just an AC manifold set from Harbor Freight. 1/2-inch drive sockets. The impact sockets aren't here. They are actually over here on the service cart, because those are the 1/2-inch drive sockets I use the most. You can see this drawer's kind of shoddy, kind of missing a lot of sockets and whatnot. In fact, I'd say the only complete set of 1/2-inch drive sockets I own is this Proto set. It's a 12-point set, and it goes all the way from 10 millimeter all the way to, I believe, 32. Is that correct? Yes, 32 millimeter. and it's a good set. Next drawer. This is just the Craftsman USA 12-point metric 3/8 drive stuff. I mostly use 6-point tools, and I have a snap-on set for the 6-point that replaced my Taiwan set, and it also lives on the service cart. This is just crescent wrenches and vice grips. This wrench here is again another new tool. I got this on eBay for 70 bucks. It's $102 on the Snap-on website, and I picked it up for 70 bucks shipped on eBay. And it's nice. Yeah, the jaw doesn't move very much. The teeth hold to fasteners or to hydraulic valves or whatever it is you may be working on quite well. And in fact, so well, if it's a fastener and you're not all the way snug on the fastener, that first tooth there will actually bite on the corner of the fastener, and you'll be stuck until you move the screw to loosen it. I do think that a crescent wrench is an essential part of a homeowner's tool set. The reason I do is because, I mean, it's basically a handheld vise if you need it to be. It's a wrench if you need it to be. It's a hammer if you need it to be. They come in handy for everything. This next drawer is the pliers drawer. We'll spend a little bit of time here because this is where the good stuff's at. A lot of what I end up working on ends up being small stuff. Just, you know, a coffee maker, just random small stuff. Stuff on the camper, under dash stuff. So I got these mini pliers from Cobalt, and they suck. The tips don't meet well. Most of them don't have any grip. They're just smooth pliers. I would say that many times they make jobs harder. It's harder to try to work with these than it is to just use your fingers. So I decided to move away from these into nicer pliers. Now, these are all Snap-on pliers. So for perspective, this Cobalt kit, these plus those that have moved out of the box, that whole set, for the price of this pair of pliers, you can buy 3 of this set. The problem is this set sucks 10 times more than this one pair of pliers. So let's look at these mini pliers from Snap-on. You get the little mini combination pliers. A lot of mechanics carry these around in the pocket. These are the 44 ACFs. These are basically pocket pliers. This set of precision pliers, look at those tips. I mean, you can pull a human hair with those tips. They grip that nice. This is made in Spain for Snap-on by a company called Lindstrom. I don't know that for sure, but they sure do look like the Lindstrom pliers. Same screws, same internal springing mechanism. They're also made in Spain. Unfortunately, these aren't just straight up rebrands. These are made for Snap-on. In other words, you can only get these pliers with that tooth pattern from Snap-on, so you got to pay the Snap-on price. The good news is these pliers are all over eBay. This 3-piece set here on the Snap-on website's like 170 bucks, and I got it shipped off eBay for $100. I wouldn't exactly call that a bargain, but it's dang sure better than 170. Of the 3 pairs of pliers, the cutters, the needle nose, and these little snipe nose, I think these are probably going to be the most handy. They've got enough meat to where you can really twist on something, and they're short enough and nicely cut enough that they'll grip most anything. I think those are going to prove to be the most handy. Another pair of pliers I think will be the most handy, another eBay pair of pliers, is these 908 ACPs. These are basically long reach mini needle nose. They've got some pretty good meat up front for twisting in tight places. They grip pretty tight. They've got kind of this Snap-on Talon grip. It's basically like a file cut in the tip, and the tips meet nice like most Snap-on pliers do. So these are leaps and bounds better than what they replaced, which was this. This is what they replaced, and you can see the teeth don't meet up. I mean, these are mini pliers. It's not like I'm, turning 1-inch pipe with them, and the tips are all marred up and the teeth are all broken just from however many uses it took to do that. So total crap. Up here, these are rebrands. These are Irwin Ergo Multi, but they are a rebranded German plier made by a company called NWS, and they are stout. They are very, very stout. They have kind of the spanner wrench area there where you can grab like a 10mm bolt. They have a wire stripper on them. This is kind of the one plier to rule them all. Another NWS plier, angle tip needle nose. Again, they have kind of a multi-use design to them. And Cutco scissors here. My daughter lost my wife's Cutco scissors, and of course that became my fault, so I had to replace her Cutco scissors. And sure enough, about a week after the Cutco scissors arrived in the mail, these ones showed up. So I now have Cutco scissors in my toolbox. So that's kind of cool, I guess, except that I had to pay for Cutco scissors twice. This is the oldest tool that I own that I paid for myself. This is a 22-year-old pair of pliers. The tips meet up nice. Still got some surface rust, but have for years. They still cut great. They still crimp great. They've probably this pair of pliers has probably put radios in 30 vehicles, easily 30 vehicles. Countless ceiling fans have been installed with this pair of pliers, and there's nothing wrong with them. They'll go another 20 years. My son will inherit these pliers, no doubt. These are made by Thomas and Betts. Thomas and Betts is an Ideal Brands company. I know that these pliers are available under other manufacturers now. I believe Klein Tools has them, but there are several clones of this plier, and most of them are not on the same par as these. So what you're going to look for is the two crimping bumps and the cutter up front. You can still find this exact Thomas and Betts plier, but they're very hard to find. You have to really do some searching. But if you want a crimper that's going to last you a lifetime, that's the way to go. Snap-on Talon grip needle nose. These are Knipex Cobra Craftsman rebrands. Same thing here. Craftsman channel locks, Irwin channel locks. This is the chrome, I don't know what you call them. These are Knipex too, but they work like a crescent wrench kind of. I don't use those very much. What I do use these for, and they are great for, is fittings, like brass fittings or chrome fittings. Basically anything where you don't want to mar the fitting, because, you know, even a really nice snap-on wrench has a little bit of play in it. But with these, you can squeeze right onto the fitting, and you don't have to worry about rounding the corner. So that's what I use those for. Now on to kind of a sore subject for a lot of tool guys, Craftsman China. I had a Craftsman gift card that I found in my truck center console from who knows when. And I went in Sears and I found these pliers. And these pliers are made in China, but notice they have that same kind of, let's see if I can show you that better. See, notice how they have that same file pattern that the snap-on pliers do. The tips are pretty even. They meet up together real nice. Guys, this is a nice pair of pliers. I don't know how they'll hold up, but they look good to start. And then I have the straight and the curved double joint pliers. And again, they've got that nice pattern and they close really well. And all the teeth meet up. These are nice. There's nothing wrong with these pliers at all. This Cobalt multi-wrench thing, those are a gimmick. Those are trash. Don't buy that. In this drawer here is woodworking tools. Let's see, you know, speed square and chalk lines, chisels, that sort of thing. Stud finder. Let's see if this stud finder works. Doesn't work. I guess I'm not a stud. Screwdriver drawer. The Ware Craft Form screwdrivers. I do recommend those. They're very good screwdrivers. The main thing that makes a good screwdriver to me is how the Phillips head fits the fastener. Does it fit well into the fastener? Not all this diamond or laser etching or any kind of coating or whatever. Just does it fit well? If it fits well, it's a good screwdriver. Doesn't fit well, it's crap. Craftsman Torx wrenches, or Torx drivers, precision screwdrivers from Craftsman. This little thing's handy. This is a ratcheting. It's on lock mode here, but kind of hard to move with one hand. I'm not making it look good even though I like it. There it goes. A ratcheting precision screwdriver from Cobalt. It's made in China. It's cheap as crap, but for what I use it for, it's held up and done the job. Clamps. This clamp is crap. It's a Great Neck made in China clamp. It's got some quick release thing here. Basically, when you clamp the thing down, this thing slips. Don't buy that. These are spring compressors for changing spring on a vehicle. It's fun to work with those because whenever you have a spring compressed, it feels very much like you have a bomb in your hand. So that's kind of cool. Or deadly. Craftsman Micro Torque wrench. It's been a good wrench. Had it for years. A little pick set from Harbor Freight. Some pry bars. Craftsman Professional pry bars. I'm pretty sure these bars are made by Mayhew. And they've held up well. They've pried a pretty good bit. OTC Ladyfoot pry bar. Craftsman files. And a Craftsman digital torque wrench. If you're a homeowner and you're not going to use a torque wrench every day, do not buy a digital torque wrench. You'll forget the batteries in, the acid will eat up the torque wrench. Every time you go to use it, the dang batteries will be dead. You won't be able to use it. Just buy a regular click type torque wrench like this one here. In fact, don't spend the money on that. Buy that. That's the way to go. Just air tool stuff, chisels and grinders and PTFE tape. The hammer drawer. Hammers, Craftsman chisel sets. Been a good chisel set. Some nail sets. Pipe stuff. This thing here is a PEX crimper. You put your PEX fitting in here and you squeeze it to lock it down. If you don't know what a PEX fitting is, this is one here. This is kind of a standard of plumbing nowadays, especially down here in the South. So this goes on the pipe, a fitting goes in, and then you put the crimper on this part here, and when you squeeze it, it locks onto the pipe. Electrical stuff, some Weehai insulated screwdrivers there, multi-tool, temperature scanner, lots of zap straps. Use a lot of zap straps. Concrete working and saws, just a bunch of junk really. And in this drawer, this is the Harbor Freight 1-inch impact set. I needed a couple of big sockets for trailer hitches actually, and that set had the 2 sizes I needed, so I bought the whole set. And the beast, the 3/4 inch Earthquake XT. This thing is serious. This thing can put out some torque. This is probably all the heavy duty torque wrench a homeowner will ever need. This will probably last me my whole life. And I do think these are well made, by the way. Just because it's Harbor Freight, don't snub your nose at it. These are very well made. I think this is probably a loss item for Harbor Freight. In other words, they sell this at or below cost in order to get you in the store so you buy some other stuff. Because this is very well made. The rest of the air tools in here are mostly Craftsman and Cobalt, except for this. This is a fairly new tool. My little Craftsman air hammer is proving inadequate on ball joints. So I got this thing and I got a quick chuck for it for the more serious stuff. I want to say this was like $40 on Amazon, and then the chuck was like $20. So Nice looking air hammer. Of course, it's made in China like everything else, but it's good stuff. What we have over here in this corner, I've got the Milwaukee blower. That thing's nice. It's noisy, but it's nice. Milwaukee hedge trimmer, and this Milwaukee light. I like this light because it puts out a lot of light. I like it because it's magnetic. I like it because the head swivels. What I don't like about it is it gets hot. So you'll be working under a hood and you'll bump your elbow into it and it'll really let you know it's there. That's a Milwaukee vacuum cleaner here. Of all these Milwaukee tools, the nicest of the bunch is that hedge trimmer. That thing will cut your house in half if you want to. It is, it's super awesome. This little pink Craftsman tool caddy. So my oldest daughter decided for like 5 minutes she wanted to work with stuff like daddy. So this used to have a few little pink tools and whatnot in it, and she quickly lost interest. But it is a very handy caddy. So if I'm gonna fix something, say around the pool, I will still use this pink caddy and load that sucker down with whatever I need, and it holds up and it holds my tools, and it makes it so that they stay together, and then when I come back to the shop I can unload. Moving up, Harbor Freight TIN coated bit index drill bits. These are $40 drill bits, carbide tipped. What they're designed for is to basically create a punch out for you to put a conduit connection into. So you drill the hole and then the conduit thing goes through, and then you screw the screw on the back, and then you hook the conduit in. Kind of like, that's what that's for. And it does make short work of the work. A Dremel with the Dremel. If you're gonna get a Dremel and you're gonna do any good, any like clean, real nice work, get one of these little wand doodads. It takes all the weight out of the Dremel, and I use it. The main thing I use that Dremel for, that's obviously a cutout tool that I used for a project I'll show you up above, like next shelf up above. But the main thing I got this thing for was for sanding and polishing the grips on, well, the grips on all sorts of guns, but mostly on Glocks, whenever I'm stippling the Glock grips. And then this, from a distance, she looks pretty good, but when you get up close, you can tell this is something I threw together pretty quickly, but it does do an excellent job of holding the tools. So this is the Milwaukee M18 Fuel Sawzall, and I just drilled a hole in this top 2x4 right there to hold the holder, and it takes a little wiggle to get off, but it's nothing unmanageable. And I did the same thing for the skill saw. Cordless skill saws are usually pretty anemic. That Milwaukee's not anemic at all. Then I got the drill, the impact, and the flashlight. And remember that cutout tool down there on the Dremel? Cutting these PVC pipes to hold these tools is what I use that Dremel for. And I didn't make them pretty because they didn't need to be pretty. They needed to be able to hold the tools, and they do that well. I just had like some metal strapping I used to add some strength to that screw in the top of the PVC pipe there. So these came with these ridiculously large belt clips, like totally in the way belt clips. So I took the clips off of those and I used them on the side of this board to hold the drill. That's the drill there, and the impact goes right up there. So anyhow, there's that thing. The grinder there, that thing's awesome, and that skill saw is impressive, very impressive. Then up above here we got a Harbor Freight nailer and a heavy duty Sawzall from DeWalt, and that's one of those Rockwell universal tools, and Dremel multi-pack from Lowe's, and knife sharpener, and a pawn shop special jigsaw. Bounce, no break. And then like a hand-me-down just barely gets the job done router, and that's a wood burning kit from Harbor Freight that I use to stipple guns with.